yourselves to live a peace and one. Changing minds, changing attitudes. Bring yourselves to live a peace and one. Show some love.
And do this. Let us start this
from
fight.
home.
It's just like raping.
From home.
Raping. Before we start fighting rape cases in these states, I see them enter the road every time and they say they do rally against rape. The day we will fight rape to a standstill is the day we will first of all fight demonic spirit to a standstill.
Why do you say that?
Is it not a demonic thing?
It is.
Before I cast out the demon in you. Lose him, and let her go. Is it not demon? So rape that is you are trying to cast out. First of all, cast out even an evil spirit is you get the entire world, then we'll stop it. See, we can only reduce rape.
We can't stop it.
We can't stop it. We can only reduce racism. We can't stop it.
Okay.
These are natural things that will occur. I'm an ambassador of good things.
Okay.
And I always say to myself, in as much as I am against rape,
yes,
I'm against racism. Let's do the best we can. It's like saying, let us fight cultism to a standstill. How can you fight cultism? You can only reduce it though. You can't fight those three things. You can't fight racism. You can't end racism. You can't end rape. You can't end cultism because many of us were born to see it.
So how do we reduce it? What can we do to reduce it?
First of all, I like what the state government is doing these days about rape issues. First of all, sensitize the public on the ills against it. And also, we have a job to do.
As individuals.
Both the raper and the rapist have a work to do in a sense that will let us be moral in our ways of life. There are people, there are people who will pass through this road and see a lady who is naked. That's an insane person who is naked on the road and they still drive past. But there are those who will drive past and they see an insane person on the road, their brakes will stand. A lot.
So that brings us to that same point you were saying about demons.
Of course.
Okay.
And when I think about the company, I was getting more than 27 demons. And
who counted it?
I don't know, but that's the slogan I was born to. Even me, I'm even wondering now demons are something. So, but my point remains that let we be a bit moral with our doings.
Okay.
Let us also at home as parents teach our children the right things to do.
Okay.
I think 4 or 5 days ago where I live, I saw a young girl who is about, I think, 12, bathing under the rain without, as in her pants. I have to call her and say, can you find a way and bath? Because not every, and funny enough, the guardians were around.
Okay.
But nobody could have the understanding that at this age she's supposed to bath somewhere hidden, not here.
Outside.
And when at times I see people support their kids for doing the wrong thing. I've been in boarding school and I've also been in day school. And most of the things done in most of the years from children are bettered from when they were in the boarding school. But you can also be in the boarding school and still come out the best of behaved person in society.
That's right.
So at times it's the culture. I went to a church yesterday to monitor nose mask, the guidelines adherence. And discovered that even the pastor of the church was not using a nose mask, for example. Yes, you may not believe it's real, but at least if the government says do this, I think as a leader of a church, you should do it. So most times we leaders, we parents, we don't drive this thing so much on our kids. Indecent dress code, a behavior that will make you end up somewhere negative in life. Let us take this and then let all we men, I say this many times, having sex with a lady should be a mutual
understanding,
not a forceful thing. And for goodness sake, how do you even enjoy the forceful thing? Why not talk to her, let her be the one giving your consent?
Yes, right.
And then you have sex with her on consent. Not what you force yourself into her. Do. And that is another part of the other part of this thing you don't know is that when a lady gets to be raped, she doesn't bring it out
to the public.
Yes, I understand. Could be because of societal
stigmatization.
Yeah, but I think I also want to believe that when we the guys are also learning the process of not becoming a rapist, the ladies also should also inculcate in them this attitude of making them not look
rapeable.
Yes, you can look decent. My wife will dress in the house and she will come to me and say, "How am I?" I said, "You look good. You're okay. We can go." You know that no matter what you tell my wife outside under her clothes, whatever you tell her,
what you say,
what I said
is okay. That's right.
And I will ask myself, at times, if my little daughter at home will misbehave, and I will drill her a little bit, you understand? I'm not doing that because I feel it's funny to see her cry, or I love to see her cry. I'm doing that so that maybe as she grows up in life,
she'll know that's wrong.
She'll know that there are things she doesn't need to do. That's how I was trained.
That's right.
That's how my parents built me up to
that's
this
right.
level. So
that's right.
We parents have a work to do by making sure that we talk to our
kids on this.
Okay. Church, talk to members on this. No, it's not until it is your
So
time.
everybody has to talk about it.
Yes.
Now, with that being said, with your industry and the career as a comedian, what do you think? Is there anything possibly that a comedian, a female comedian, could say during when she's saying the jokes, when she's telling the jokes, or how she presents the joke that could trigger rape from a man who sees her? Because some people tend to be blinded by what they see, especially the male folk. Is there anything that a female comedian could do that could actually trigger rape from the opposite sex?
Do we even have female comedians? Well, it's not the duty in the absence of female comedians in the state to do things like that. Yes, it's right.
Well, generally.
Yes, it's right. But in the absence, I think the male comedians also preach the gospel.
Okay.
I tell people who ask that there are two things most importantly I do not do jokes on. I don't do jokes on homosexual.
Okay.
I don't talk about lesbianism because I see it so indecent that I should glorify it in my time on stage. I see it so indecent to glorify it.
Okay.
Rape is something that, as a comedian who has spent time and years and experience gained, I can sit down and talk about it because it is fast taking the. A young man yesterday told me that we men will start our own protest too. And I said, protest against let's be ready. So you also want to do protest against lesbianism so that
okay, I see that.
So definitely I accept that, but it is not really the female comedians alone. Female comedians should also see how we can intercede
and talk
create
about
content
it.
and not just creating. Pray that once you give the content to because it is one thing to advise, another thing to take the advice. Most of these things we are saying now because people don't work on the advice
that we're giving out.
Yeah, so I welcome any female comedian that wants to do a joke about sensitizing the public against this rape thing, and every other ill in the society.
Why are male comedians more celebrated than the female comedians? And when the female comedians come into the industry, next thing you see from the male counterparts or even people who want to patronize them, we'll be talking about sex with them first. Why?
Well, there are two questions you just asked, and I will answer it too sharply. The first one, why are male comedians respected? Yes, because it's a male-dominated profession.
Okay.
Firstly, I think in Nigeria we have about 4 female comedians.
Okay.
And I don't need to mention the names, you know them. The Princess, the Helen Paul, a couple of other ones we have that. And then in Akwa State, sorry to say this, with my experience so far, all I know about female MCs, not comedians.
Comedians, okay.
And so if you're saying that when the female comedians start doing it, the male ones will want to, use sex. I think it's happening in Lagos. It's happening here is female musical artists.
Okay.
Not female comedians. Maybe it's in Lagos or anywhere, which I don't even believe it's happening in Lagos. But
because you've not seen.
We refined it to this point now. Why are the male in this industry that I come from will always want to see every fine musical artist who is female to run things with? Then I will answer that one. You see,
okay.
I am so blessed that my industry, at my level of mentorship or mentoring people, I don't have a female comedian come to me and say, "Sir, groom me." But you see, music industry, you want to do a song, a collab with somebody who is a musical act, a big name, I say, and you will say, "Since you cannot pay me, let us go and spend the night together." And because of, I pity most of these girls that sing music, because of how eager they want to blow, or they want to do a song, they will fall for one useless idiot who has no better plan
for them
from that sex. It's not nice. And I call myself the CP of the entertainment industry. CP means Commissioner of Prosecution. So when I see things like that happen, I will be the first to talk. I'm not saying I'm a saint. I'm not a saint, but the way these people run, it happens even in the movie industry. I will say it happens in the movie industry, it happens in the music industry, that to a point that some directors in movies will be saying, for you to have a lead role, come and see me in my hotel room, you understand? It's happening.
You don't say.
It's happening. You are
wow.
You are in this our industry, but the way you belong to the high class of the industry that do music alone and their gospel things. See the biggest secular one again. If we have the biggest secular me, one who this industry will burn like fire. Will not be able to really stop it, but I think, like I've always said, if you're a music producer, a movie producer, movie director, in fact, let me also agree it's not happening. You're a mentor in the comedy field where I belong to. Let us see a way that we will not use rape as a tool. Sex as a tool to
patronize.
If somebody is good, push the person.
That's right.
If the person is not good, be frank with the person. In fact, there is how you meet a girl you like so much that has come to you for promo or for partnership or collab, and you like her and you love her. Be frank to tell her point blank that aside this music,
I like
can we become intimate?
I like you.
Do not use the idea of, as we live here, I will carry you go meet producer. Where we produce, you know, so producer in Lagos. The innocent girl will say no. So it may not totally stop because it's happening even in churches. It's happening even in the political scene. So is it the entertainment industry that
it's happening everywhere?
If our leaders cannot even stop it, why are we even crying for it? So it is high time if you meet a girl you like and you appreciate, tell her point blank you like her. Don't use music as a yardstick.
That's right. And don't use the craft as a yardstick. Let me ask you this: how do you stay relevant in the industry?
It's not easy. I've always said I'm not pussy. I've always said it's not easy. 2004 professionally till now has not been a long road. Let me shock you. There are comedians that were there before me. In fact, those who decided together that are no longer doing it. They are doing well in life, maybe in other businesses. They are doing well in other fields of endeavors.
Okay.
But stand-up comedy,
they're not.
They are not really relevant. So at times it takes, like the troubles I said earlier, troubles will come. Things will make it look as if it will not work. Then it will look as if the wall will fall on you. But when you keep pushing it, you will. So I think I am the only old egg, in quotes, that has been here. Because why should I be so? The little place I have gone to in this world, I go with experiences. You know, I pay flight ticket to events in Lagos, not to perform most of them, but just to go and watch. Make friends.
Gotcha.
And now friend I'm making will have an event. I've been to Lagos a couple of times on the invite of friends I met at another event. I didn't have any business there, but most of your friends will see you at the event and say, since you don't come, sorry, sir, I don't invite you. Come and climb the stage, and you will still do it because you know that you're trying to push something out of a requirement. And I tell people, I say it anyway. When you come here and say, I want you for an event, the governor is coming to that event, I will look you first, so because I have this the way they talk. There is something I'm looking for. How much are you going to pay
me?
Because if it is, have I not played for great people in Africa? I've been out of the country, so I've played for people. So don't use deputy governor or governor
to entice me.
Or to entice me. It is my money. So once I did a birthday some time ago, and I was called. They said they want to pay 50,000. And I said, they said the president of the Senate is coming. Big men are coming, and you want to pay me what the streets is begging to give me for this event. So let us forget about it. Keep the money. I'm still alive today. I've not died. So to be relevant in this industry, you must have your own conviction.
To stay with it.
Be firm on what you do. Let your conscience be your last judge. In everything you do, don't be casual. I think in the history of this industry, I'm the only comedian that nobody can wield around, except I want to be wheeled around.
You're just your own person.
Whether you like me or not, take it the way it is. I am the way I am.
That's right. And
I owe nobody apologies to being who I am. Sir, it's your event. If you can't afford me, to God be the glory. But I can also give you somewhat. I gave some time ago, somebody called me and said, sir, I want to do a TM. I have 30,000 naira. Okay, 20,000. I said, I can't do it for you, but I can give you someone at that amount.
That can do it.
Let me shock you. I called a friend of mine, I won't mention name, to go there, who was under me that time. I said, go there. The boy I sent to that place is good, very good on white weddings, but not good on TM. But I said, go. The boy got the money. Around 8 p.m., the man again near the event called back. Sergeant, I said, how far? I said, that number your phone. I was like, what have I done? See that guy where you carry come give me. That boy not just be young at all. That boy did not just crack anything up. And I told him, I said, 20,000 get for my brother. So if you are looking for someone that will make people enjoy the group before, don't pay, because you can't sit in front. You know one point that guy did before he came to me, that day he came to me, make me usher. I don't even arrange hotel rooms for my guests that are coming in. Make the event venue. As I talk to you, the hall, I don't claim 300,000 the hall. So you will take time to pay
all those things.
You take time to pay hotel for those people I am to
entertain.
You take time to lodge them, buy food for them, do bachelor's eve, spend cash for club, for a get, and now you have the guts to tell me, MC 20,000. Okay, if I even make Revo give or 5K, So to be relevant in the industry, you must have God beside you, because I have had fights upon fights. But like I've always said, somebody wrote something one day on Facebook and said the world can do without the best. Yes. But there is a time the world faced a very stiff problem. The world now came to the best.
That's right.
And the best told the world that since you said the world can do without
the best,
go back and face your problem. In this industry, I have faced a whole lot. But let me tell you, I always have one Bible portion backing whatever I do. That even the kingdom of God suffereth violence, and only the violent will take it by force. So no matter what you do, my name is Comedian Sir James. I have been there. I am here, and I will still be there.
By the time you come, what would you change? One thing that you would change about this industry if you could?
If I can. But these people will say, what will you do to change if you are appointed?
No, what would you change if you could? What is one thing that when you look at it, you're like, if I could, I would change this in the industry?
Funny enough, that thing you're asking me is what I have already seen.
Okay.
I live a life that I feel that I don't join the trend or the crowd when they do their things. If you see me join a crowd thing, know that I have So there's somebody in amongst that crowd that I respect a lot. There's somebody amongst that crowd that I am following. If you live in a society and at the end of your life on earth, you don't go back with one thing you've done, then you've wasted your time. On earth. The little time I have on earth, I feel it is good and God's given. I wish to leave this world with one conviction back to my grave, and that is my happiness. The time I personally affected people around me. You know, I go to some events sometime and I get to see people who say that your performance at that place was wow. That what you tried, that your video I watched was wow. This your thing I did was wow. And I will also tell myself, then indeed I have leaved some mark. And I pray I keep doing it so that by the time I leave this world, people will not wait for my family to tell them what I did.
But they'll be able to see
those things I did that my family were not aware.
Okay. All right, guys, we've been talking to Sir James on how to be the best MC that you could ever be. And of course, you've been listening in and you can see that he's a fine, seasoned gentleman and he knows his onions and what he's been doing. And so before we go off air, Sir James, what would be your closing thoughts to encourage other people who might be interested? There's some young people looking up to you. What would you say to them as we close?
It's very simple. If you are aspiring to become a comedian, please, I hear people say, I want to be like I Will Die. I want to be like Basket Mouth. I want to be like Lindy Drunk. Yes, it's possible to be like them. There are great brands people will always want to be like. But do me one favor and do yourself one favor by trying to be yourself. Carve a brand. Those names you want to idolize, had their brand names carved by themselves. Can you carve your own self out? I want to be like myself. Sir James does not, quote him well, have someone he picks as a role model in this business. He does it, and for years back till now, he's been doing it his own style, his own thing. Please, let God be your number one factor in life. You can never succeed in this life without having God on your side. When you have God as your sole inspirator and motivator,
that's right.
Just have one or two people as mentors. Don't be mentored by everybody. You see a comedian in Calabar do well, you go seek for mentorship. You go to Lagos and see someone where you go for mentorship. Do not submit under every particular person you will see as an idol. Pick one or two as a mentor. People that can inspire you. Don't have everybody you call boss. Funny enough, I don't allow any of my colleagues call me boss. Funny enough, I don't call them my boys. Please, your God, one or two mentors, and then always work on yourself. Funny enough, let me say this. I told people, if you're a comedian and your Facebook timeline does not make me smile, you have no essence to call yourself
a comedian.
If you're a comedian, let me see comic content on your page and smile. Let me see you sit down, write things that will make. If you post something and out of 100 likes, you have like 70 people use the simile smile, then you've really tried. So please do the best you can. Let your social media also be very close to you. That is someone like that. Please, as you grow, let God be your ultimate guide.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Sir James, for coming to the show. I have really enjoyed myself.
And I've not
you've made me laugh, and I have laughed so much. Thank you. And I'm sure the audience as well have enjoyed you. Now, over to you. After all is said and done, I want you to realize and know for a fact that anything that you want to do in this life, and you find pleasure to do them, it is worth doing well. Now, as an MC, as a comedian, know that you are responsible to know what you say. You are responsible to know your events and to know the client that has hired you for a job. Remember, you will be held accountable for what you say and how you make other people feel when you're doing your job. Remember that in this life, We owe only one person an explanation on how we live our lives and how we choose to make other people feel. And that is Almighty God. Until I see you on another episode, I am Princess Pat Akpabio, and that is Changing Minds, Changing Attitudes. You take care of yourself. Bye-bye.
Things are never what they seem to be. Changing minds, changing attitudes. Bring ourselves to live a peace and one. Changing minds, changing attitudes. Bring ourselves to live a peace and one. Show some love, hold each other's hands. In confidence we'll make